What if Kanye West didn't just lose Drake, but got outplayed the entire time? Because when you really look at everything that's happened between them, the rumors, the betrayals, the lyrics, the timing, it starts to feel less like a normal rap feud and more like a long game that never really ended. At the beginning, this wasn't even a rivalry, it was admiration. Drake looked at Kanye like the blueprint. He studied him, broke down his music, even said Kanye was one of the most influential artists in his life. And Kanye? He loved it. You could tell he fed off that energy. Having someone as sharp and hungry as Drake calling you a genius only reinforced how Kanye saw himself. But that dynamic only works for so long, because admiration has an expiration date, especially when the student starts catching up. And that shift happened faster than most people realized. Drake didn't just rise, he exploded. Suddenly, he wasn't the guy learning from Kanye anymore, he was competing with him. And then came the moment that changed everything. Drake openly said he didn't just want to be as good as Kanye, he wanted to be better. Now on the surface, that sounds like ambition. But if you understand Kanye, you know that's not something he just shrugs off. That's not a compliment, that's a challenge. And from that point on, something underneath the relationship changed. It didn't break right away, but the tension was already there. But the real trigger, that didn't come from music. It came from Kim Kardashian. Back in 2018, rumors started circulating that Drake and Kim had something going on. Kim shut it down publicly, said it never happened. End of story. But it didn't end, because Kanye didn't just want her to deny it. He wanted Drake to speak on it too. And Drake stayed quiet. That silence, it made everything worse. Fast forward a few years and suddenly things started lining up in a way that people couldn't ignore. Drake mentions Lake Como in a lyric. Around the same time, Kim posts photos from Italy. At Lake Como. Same type of villa, same energy. Then another lyric drops, referencing a woman in Hidden Hills. And everyone knows exactly who lives there. Now, maybe it's coincidence, maybe it's not. But the internet doesn't deal in maybes, it connects dots. And this time, the dots were too close together. And if you're Kanye watching all of this unfold publicly, that's not just uncomfortable, that's personal. But even that wasn't the worst part, because what really broke everything wasn't Kim. It was what happened in Wyoming. This is where things get uncomfortable. Drake flies out, thinking he's walking into a collaborative, creative environment. Kanye's talking differently now, calmer, more focused, positioning himself almost like a mentor, comparing himself to Quincy Jones, talking about growth, evolution, helping Drake level up. And Drake buys into it. He shares unreleased music, talks about his plans, opens up about personal things, his family, his situation, things that weren't meant for the public. That's not surface-level conversation, that's trust. But looking back, it starts to feel different because shortly after that trip, everything starts unraveling. The Pusha T situation hits. Suddenly, Drake's private life is out in the open. His son, something he had kept hidden, gets dragged into the spotlight, and Kanye is connected to the project. That's not just bad timing, that's where things start to feel calculated. From Drake's perspective, this wasn't collaboration. This was setup. And once that line gets crossed, like there's no coming back from it. From that point on, everything shifts. Kanye starts going public. Rants, accusations, demanding apologies, calling Drake out directly. Bringing in family, dragging names into the conversation, escalating things in ways that go beyond music. But here's what's interesting. Drake doesn't respond the same way. He doesn't go loud, he doesn't spiral, he plays it differently. Subtle shots in songs, a line here, a reference there, even mocking the situation publicly, laughing it off like it doesn't faze him. And that contrast, it changes the entire dynamic, because now it doesn't feel like two artists clashing. It feels like one reacting and the other controlling the pace. Then something unexpected happens. After all the tension, all the back and forth, they reunite on stage. The Free Larry Hoover concert, standing side by side like none of it ever happened. Drake shows respect, calls Kanye an idol, praises his catalog, and for a moment it feels like everything might actually be over. But that moment, it didn't mean what people thought it did, because not long after the tension comes right back, but this time it's quieter and more strategic. Drake samples Kim's voice in a track. Not random, not accidental. He knows exactly what that does. Then more lyrics surface, hinting at manipulation, at being misled, at realizing too late what was really going on. Meanwhile, Kanye shifts the narrative again. Now it's about the industry. Power, control, suggesting Drake isn't even fully in charge of his own career. Bringing in names behind the scenes. At this point, it's not just a feud anymore, it's layered. History, ego, competition. Trust broken in ways that don't just disappear, and then you add in everything else happening around Drake. The pressure, the other conflicts, the way public perception keeps shifting, and suddenly this rivalry feels bigger than both of them. Because now it's not just about who started it, it's about who played it better. Was Kanye trying to control the situation from the start? Or did Drake see everything coming and just move differently?